What is going on, Pats Nation? You guys already know who it is. Patriots Global back here with another video. And that introduction, I think my voice cracked a little bit. Didn't start necessarily on as a high note as I thought. But you know what? We're going to keep it mellow. We're going to keep it mellow. We're going to have a great video today because we got my boy, my brother, Dan Mitchell on the channel today. You guys see him every single year. And that's how you know it's Buffalo Bills week, something that as Patriots fans, we don't look forward to anymore because it's not a game. Yeah. And it's not a fun game to watch for us. But you know what? It is for Dan because we ruined his childhood for what, 2 decades? So
my entire childhood, basically.
Just to the ground because of the Patriots. So Dan has some mixed feelings about the Patriots, and understandably so. So I'll give him a couple of good years against this team, but starting next year, Dan, I'm gonna have to take it back. So enjoy it while you can. I'll let Mac Jones, I'll tell him to throw a couple interceptions your way just to make, just have a couple games for you to look back on when we do come back as a franchise that you can look back on and say, you know what? At least I have this game to look at.
Yo, listen, like the entire table will be flipped when Kirk Cousins is throwing passes and all right.
Yes, guys. Yeah. So we did just talk a little bit about Patriots and Bills over on Dan's live stream. So if you guys want to hear some of my thoughts, some breakdowns, more specifically about the Patriots, because this is going to be more about the Buffalo Bills and what we can expect and what the Patriots can kind of do to have some success in this game against the Buffalo Bills. But if you want to hear more of my Patriots thoughts about this game, go over to Dan's channel. We will have it linked in the description box below for you guys to go ahead and check him out and hear some of my thoughts. But not only did we talk about the game, but we talked about life a little bit. We even talked about Dan's kind of thought process for the Patriots this offseason. How do they rebuild? What do they do at quarterback? What does this offense do? Even in the draft, we talked about a little bit. So if you guys want to hear some of those thoughts, go ahead and check out Dan's recent live. But Dan, how are you doing?
Man, I'm not going to lie to you, dude. I think the anxiety finally diminished after that New York Giants game. Past couple of nights, I've been like shaking, right? Like shaking. I feel like I've finally gotten over it. I mean, as many Pats fans probably understand, the Buffalo Bills offense has looked particularly flat for the past couple of weeks. I want to pretend that this is new, right? But I feel like my entire memory just gets like wiped after each and every single season. I'm trying to console myself and say, hey, you know what? Like we go through like this absolute shit period normally in the month of October, late September, maybe even into November, where like the Bills just don't look the same for 2 to 3 games in a row. So our defense is still looking great, minus the injuries. Still doing great. Thank God Leslie Frazier is out of here. It seems like Sean McDermott's always been the guy that needs to be making these calls on this defense. And I really hope that he continues to take helm at that responsibility. Of course, say that he can remain consistent for the rest of the year. But it's been the offense, right? I mean, we go from week 2 to week 4, scoring an average of like 38 plus points each and every single game, looking wildly efficient. And then, of course, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars game over in London. And then we have the Giants game afterwards, which just made me want to pull my hair out. I'm hoping that the Buffalo Bills can get right offensively against this New England Patriots defense. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And guys, before I kind of break down some of my thoughts, before we kind of get into some of these questions with Dan, you already know we got to get hype for the video. And the way we do that is we roll the Patriots Global intro, in which we will have a new one soon. But for now, we're going to roll with the old school Patriots Global intro.
So you get a new intro?
Just like that, we're back. So I do need a new one. I need a new one, yeah. This is this one I made by myself a couple of years ago. I made it a couple of years ago. The music, I have a lot of people asking me, Patriots Global, where can I find that? What song is that from? This is actually made from scratch. I have a music producer friend.
Oh, dude.
I have a friend who is a music producer. So he gives me I work with him a little bit, and we put together some like background music for videos and stuff like that. So everything you guys hear is brand new, strictly made from scratch. So
when's the Bill Belichick diss track dropping, bro?
me and Tyson are working on that right now.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. He wants Caleb Williams, so I can't hop on board with that one. But
Yeah.
like you mentioned, the Buffalo Bills, they're not playing great football. They're playing inconsistent football. They're not
Yeah.
playing complimentary football, something us Patriots fans know. But the difference between the Bills and the difference between the Patriots is the fact that you guys have talent. And although some weeks you play like bum, you at least have some weeks where you play like absolute superstars that deserve to be in the contention for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Something that we haven't seen at all. The thing, too, about the Patriots is that it seems like if a team is down in the dumps, right? They're not performing well, or a certain player's not performing well. We act as if we are Oprah and we say, you know what? We're going to be generous. You get some statistics. You get some statistics. You get some statistics. We will put you guys back on the map, Dan. So don't worry if your Buffalo Bills are down right now. This will be the game that you guys come back and absolutely blow us out. And now I know me and you talked in your video too about your rookie tight end. We even talked about Dawson Knox. We talked about Kincaid, right? We talked about their inability to get going and their inability to use these tight ends. But this past week against the Raiders, the Raiders were using Michael Mayer constantly. And he had more production in the Raiders' opening drive offensively than he had all season long throughout the previous 5 weeks. So this would definitely be the game that if any of your players are inconsistent, they need a breakout game, they need a confidence game, this would be the game that they get it. But the other thing, too, is that I don't know what's in the air, but you guys play the Patriots so much different than you play every single other team. You are motivated. Like Josh Allen is a different quarterback. It looks like he panics out of, in every other game you look at the Giants game, you look at the Jets game, you look at the Jags game. He's inconsistent. He panics at times, but it seems like when he plays the Patriots, he is not the characteristics of Josh Allen you see in every single game. He's a very different Josh Allen. He's a calm, poised, sit back in the pocket, take what's given to you, and then kind of just kill the Patriots team in big splash plays towards the end of the game. He just plays his best football against this team. And we know that your head coach doesn't seem to like Bill Belichick very much. I don't know what that issue is, Dan. Maybe you know, but he has vocally attacked Bill Belichick's character. Not even the Patriots, not the playing style. He's attacked Bill Belichick several times on a personal level. So I don't know what's in the air. I don't know if he grew up a Bills fan and we just spanked him like every single week and he got upset. But he doesn't like Bill Belichick. And it seems that every single week he has these games every single year he has these games circled on his calendar.
Yeah.
To beat the Patriots. So I don't know what it is, but that's how we're going to get dominated.
I mean, it's funny because I really don't recall anything like verbatim that he said. I mean, maybe I just wasn't paying attention by itself, but like sometimes like I just think about it and like I try to look at it from an objective standpoint and I say, hey, like who's a likable guy, right? For some reason, I feel like Belichick, he's a great coach. I mean, he is one of the best of all time, right? If not the best of all time. But I mean, he just like seems like that kind of guy or whatever, where like, and so you go and you shake his hand, like great to congratulate him. He goes, thank you. Just walks away. You know what I mean? Maybe he rubbed him the wrong way. I'm not entirely sure. Sean McDermott's definitely a guy that I can see that really holds respecting others in any sort of like, I would say of the professional relationship. Who knows? Is what it is. But yeah, dude. I mean, it's funny when it comes to Josh Allen because the Dolphins and the Patriots, he just so happens to really put out his best game, right? And that's like not something that I am going to not expect going into Sunday by itself. It's just the Jets that we struggle with for some reason. I have no idea why. It's just that defense. Who knows? But I mean, listen, it's definitely not something where I'm going to disrespect that Pats defense because like you're literally talking about a defensive guru who is going to try whatever he can to show Josh Allen something different. That Patriots defense, really doesn't have an identity, and that works for their favor. That's always worked for their favor because like you don't know what their identity is going to be each and every single game. So I'm curious to see if like there's a specific game plan that Belichick's going to throw out there. But I'm looking at matchups right now, man, especially from our offense and like your defense, and it's hard for me to see quite a few. I still have a lot of respect for your secondary, and that's even with Gonzalez being out, and that's even with Judon being out by itself. I love your safeties. I love Duggar. I still have respect for J.C. Jackson, although that Diggs has proven that he has his number for the most part.
Mhm.
But I mean, as a Bills fan, what I'm looking for is I'm just looking for us to go out there and play the Buffalo Bills football that they've demonstrated, you know, time and time again. And let's get over this damn rut because it's getting frustrating from a Bills fan. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, and something that we've seen kind of if you look back at the history over the last few matchups against these two teams is that it seems to be for the most part, right? For the most part, relatively a close game, but it seems like, late in the third quarter or early to late in the fourth quarter, it seems like that's when the game gets away from the Patriots, right? It's a one or two score difference. And
Yeah.
then Josh Allen clutches up and he makes it a 2 to 3 score difference, which puts the Patriots kind of in a position where they're just not going to be able to win the football game. It just seems like Josh Allen clutches up against New England when it matters most. I mean, even in
Yeah.
that last matchup, week 18 of last season, the Patriots win that game. They're in the postseason. They were throwing everything they had at the kitchen sink in order to
Yep.
make the postseason because they needed to. They needed to. We all know the statistics under Bill Belichick. Hasn't won a playoff game since Super Bowl 53, or I should say postseason game since Super Bowl 53, and has only gone to the playoff once since Brady has left and got absolutely demolished by an in-division rival in the Buffalo Bills, which is one of the biggest blowouts over the last 10 years, which you just cannot let happen. And you know that Robert Kraft is hearing these things. But to me, if we kind of look at the Patriots defense to the Buffalo Bills offense, I think what the Patriots need to do is it's going to have to be death by 1,000 cuts, right?
Yep.
Because what you need to do is essentially you got to keep Josh Allen off of the field as much as possible. You got to keep Stephon Diggs off of the field as much as possible. And we know that the Patriots offense, and I know we're not talking about the Patriots offense just yet, but it mixes into what I'm saying. The Patriots offense isn't built to run with big splash plays and constantly go drive for drive with opposing offenses, especially like the Buffalo Bills. So with that being said, you need to have Josh Allen beat you with death by 1,000 cuts, beat you by checkdowns, make him hold on to the ball. But if he is going to beat you with constantly 20-yard, 50-yard completions to Stephon Diggs or Gabe Davis, you're just not going to win the football game. And I'm really not too worried about the rushing attack for the Bills. I think that you guys have significantly improved from a rushing attack compared to what we've seen the last couple of years. Obviously, down Damian Harris, praise up for him. But
Mhm.
but I'm not worried, right? Because even with some of the injuries the Patriots have along that defensive line, and even being out with Judon and Keon White, we saw one of the most dominant games from an interior perspective from the Patriots defensive line last week, especially coming from Christian Barmore, who has stepped up significantly with injuries along this defensive line, not just from a pass rush standpoint, but also from a run defending standpoint.
Yeah.
You got to be able to take those splash plays away from Josh Allen and this Bills offense. I feel like if you look at these past games they've played and you look at the history of this team, when you have to ask Josh Allen to beat you with just dump offs and short completions, his chance at winning the game drops significantly. It seems like when
Mhm.
you guys get those splash plays, right? You get those 20 yarders, you get those 50 yarders. You guys can essentially do whatever you want offensively. That's when the game gets away from the Patriots specifically and puts it into a position where you guys can just do whatever in God's name you want, and the game gets away from us that quickly. The Patriots have to start going drive for drive with you guys, and that starts with, like I said, death by 1,000 cuts
Yep.
with Josh Allen. If that's how he beats us, that's how he beats us. And I think that that's pretty much a successful game for the Patriots if Josh Allen beats you by just simple little passes and dump offs. But it's one of those situations where if they do beat you by throwing for over 300 yards and Stephon Diggs goes for like over 120, then you kind of ask yourself, what was the game plan heading into this game?
Yeah, man. So like there's definitely a common misconception. I think that although that like you do have some injuries on the defensive line, I know our offensive line for the most part has been ranked relatively high for pass protection, which a lot of Bills fans are just freaking out about like, "Oh my god, our like for some reason our offensive line is elite now." The reason we're ranked so high is because now what the Buffalo Bills are doing is that we are really taking advantage of as much additional protection as humanly possible, right? So like you're definitely seeing Knox out there with him. We did see Damian Harris out there, unfortunately. Certainly hoping that his injury is not as significant. Although you did warn me, like this offseason, you were just like, "Hey, man, listen, I know you're excited about Damian Harris, but don't expect him to play the whole season." No, man,
He's
this
gonna
year's gonna
do it.
this year's gonna be different. But like now, like with like Latavius Murray is also out there, Reggie Gilliam. That's why the Buffalo Bills pass protection has been significantly improved this year is because that additional insurance policies that we have back there with Josh by itself. Um, I mean, really, at the end of the day, like weeks 2 through 4, Josh did take a lot of things underneath. And like you said, it was a death by 1,000 paper cuts sort of situation. And we've done well, but we tried that same thing against Jacksonville. We tried that same thing against the New York Giants. And it seems like that's really didn't pay the same dividends that we saw from week 2 and week 4. As far as this offense is concerned, it definitely sucks. Well, like I mean, it doesn't suck for me, but it definitely sucks for Patriots fans. Like Gabe Davis is finally healthy, right? Like he's not like dealing with a high ankle sprain. He's playing at full speed. He's had a couple of games over 100 receiving already. But my biggest worry here is that we continue to just make it one dimensional, where it's just a Josh Allen and a Stephon Diggs game. Now, I know that like the stats will come out and tell you that Josh Allen is one of the quarterbacks that spreads the ball around the most, but there's no question. I feel like even any casual can tell that Josh Allen gravitates towards Stephon Diggs. And we have all of these new weapons, man. We have a Deontay Hardy, right? He's very fast, great gadget player, could easily run out of the slot. You still have a Dalton Kincaid, who was a first round selection this year. He's supposedly some generational talent, and he's averaging like 3 targets a game. Like, what the hell is going on? My only concern is the fact that Josh marries to Diggs, 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 and he doesn't spread the ball around at all. And then, like, that's something where I think that he could make mistakes. What's the weather for the game in Foxborough, by the way? Do we know?
So it last time I
Foxborough.
checked, it was supposed to be rainy. We'll see if that holds up because weather can obviously change significantly. But what was reported is that what the outlook looks like right now for the game is that it is supposed to be more of a rainy, muggy game.
50% chance so far, 56 degrees. Looks like it's going to have to come down to the run game, baby.
And if this was a couple years ago, I would feel very good. You know, the game where Mac Jones had to throw like 5 passes and we just ran the ball and ultimately we won it. But, you know,
Don't remind me of that fucking win game, bro.
we are
I
not
hated that
built
win
to
game.
even win a game like that, Dan. But, you know, I think if the Patriots also want to beat the Bills, what they need to do is they need to lock down. They need to lock down on third down. And the thing is, like, the Patriots are very good on third down. Like, they're one of the better teams in defending third down conversions. The Patriots are allowing a third down efficiency of 37%, which is better than you guys. Yours is a 42%. I'm sure we'll talk about that when we talk about your defense and our offense. But you guys on third down, you guys are converting almost 50% of the time. 49% of the time, you guys are converting on third down compared to the Patriots offense, which is like 35, right? So I think that that's going to be like probably the most interesting part of like your offense, our defense, is your ability to convert on third down and our ability to stop on third down. Whoever wins that matchup, I think, is going to help significantly change this game in that team's favor. So I think if you're the Patriots, stopping on third down, forcing punts, or holding down once you reach the red zone and holding them to field goals is how you're going to stay in this game. And if you're the Buffalo Bills, getting in front of the Patriots offensively quick and punching the ball into the end zone is how you're going to run away with this game very quick because you know Mac Jones and this offense cannot go drive for drive.
Yeah. Most definitely, man.
And your offense too, in terms of like rushing yards, it's an improvement, like I said, but it's still nothing crazy, right? You guys are averaging 118 rush yards per game, which again, it's better than us. We're averaging 83, but that should not be a metric that makes you say, "Oh, we're doing pretty good." Like, no, we just have a bad offense from pretty much every single phase. I think, again, where you're looking at is that you're probably going to have an extra defensive back for the Patriots in this game.
Yeah.
If you can somehow manage to find a defensive back that's healthy enough for you to play in this game. John Jones, I would assume, doesn't play in this game after re-aggravating himself last week. Of course, only 2 weeks into the
So
season.
who are you putting out there instead?
So it looks like it's going to be J.C. Jackson. That's going to be your starting cornerback on Stephon Diggs. And of course, he played a great game. I mean, I will say, only 2 weeks into his tenure back with New England, he pretty much shut down Devontae Adams this past week. He
Yeah.
played excellent coverage. But that doesn't matter. The Patriots all season long have been holding number one wide receivers to very limited stats. They haven't let one go over 100 yards. Like, they've been doing very, very well. Tyreek Hill, 40 yards. Devontae Adams, I forget how much yards he put up, but I know it was less than 50. They've been doing very good. But at the end of the day, they've been doing that for years. They've been doing very good against number one wide receivers, but then they play Stephon Diggs and they play the Buffalo Bills, and it just gets away from them every single year, which is why you were excited. You were excited about Christian Gonzalez because you finally had a guy that could very well go up against Stephon Diggs, but he's not there. So we'll see how J.C. Jackson can play against Stephon Diggs. I would assume that Patriots have safety help over the top in order to play that. So I would assume that you're either going with J.C. Jackson in order to shut him down, or you're going to play like a Miles Bryant with safety help over the top in order to shut him down, and then J.C. Jackson will just be one-on-one with Gabe Davis. But I would probably assume it's more of the first one. Now, Jack Jones did return to practice, I will say, but he hasn't been activated yet. So it might be another week until we see Jack Jones. And if that is the case, you're probably looking at J.C. Jackson and Miles Bryant as your starting perimeter corners.
So has anybody been ruled out officially for you guys?
I do have the injury report right here. Let me see. So this is about, so the most recent one I have for the Patriots is 21 hours ago. So I haven't gotten today's yet. The
Yeah.
people who didn't practice yesterday were Hunter Henry, Riley Reif, Josh Uche, Keon White, Jonathan Jones, and then that's it. So like I said, I would probably assume that Jonathan Jones is out for this game again, unfortunately, which would mean that if they don't activate Jack Jones, would have Miles Bryant and J.C. Jackson as your starting perimeter corners.
Okay. Got it.
So that's something that you guys should take advantage of if you have the ability to. But kind of looking at the Patriots offense to your guys' defense,
Yeah.
a game in which Mac Jones, I'm not asking you to do much. I'm just asking you to do the Zach Wilson approach at this point and just not turn over the ball. Okay? You don't have to play a crazy game, but you just can't turn over the ball. And he's averaging at least one interception per game right now.
Yeah.
But every single matchup, he seems to throw an interception to you guys, right? It seems
Yep.
to always be to Micah Hyde, or it seems to be going to Poyer. And I would assume that that does not change in this game with a stout defense that you guys still have. But like I said, looking at the Patriots' offensive metrics right now, 199 pass yards per game. And you might be saying, well, that's terrible, but they're probably running the ball well. Nope. Like I said before, 83 yards per average on game right now. Not doing very well. Patriots are also, you guys win the turnover battle. You guys are averaging 9 turnovers offensively. We have
Yep.
11 turnovers offensively. That's what we're looking at so far.
Yep.
A third down efficiency of 35%. You guys shouldn't have to do much to stop us on third down. You'll probably stop us on our first drive. And we're averaging 12 points per game. So if you guys can get to that 20 range of like 21 or more points, you should feel very, very confident that you end up winning this game, because the Patriots are only going to be able to get half of that at best.
See, I'm telling you what, like, I'm sitting here trying to look at some of like the really deep stats, and I'm trying to figure out like a solid game plan. And so the Bills are allowing 5.4 yards per carry, right? That's 31st in the league. All right. Now, granted, I'm not sure how much weight I want to put into that, because there has been several like long ass runs that like maybe like one of our linebackers just whiffed on. It perhaps may have skewed it, but that's something that I would probably end up taking a look at as of right now, right? So I mean, like 5.4 yards per carry. I think that's going to be the Patriots' like number one attack plan. That's essentially what I would probably want to do, right? And teams are definitely not scared to rush against us either. Like they're having like 25 attempts out there. rush yards per game, 133.7. So I think if you want to keep this competitive, I think it's going to have to be a run the damn ball and hope your defense can wake up and get you a couple of extra possessions. Because as much as I love the whole, hey, let's just run the ball down their throats, when it comes into any matchups like this, if your team's down by 2 to 3 scores, right? Running the ball, you can't do it anymore. You have to like revert over into the pass game if an offense starts pulling away at this point. But right, due to the weather, it does seem like that it is going to be rainy. I think like this is like the perfect conditions for that to be the Patriots game plan. Is literally feed Ramondre, feed Zeke Elliott, and just do exactly what you can because you have the conditions in your favor. And I mean, you're going up against a run defense that's letting up 5.4 yards per carry and 133.7 every single week by itself. Secondary, on the most part, it's going to be pretty tough. We are leading the league in sack percentage at number one, 11.59. So I'm not sure Mac Jones is going to have like a lot of time behind the pocket. All right. So he's going to have to hope that Kyrie Elam's out there playing because that's like a liability out there. I could definitely see a Kendrick Bourne and an Elam matchup being something that I would probably want to target if I'm putting myself in a Patriots shoot, like, and so in a Patriots fan shoes. And then we're second in the league for the interception. So with the percentage as well. So I'm thinking like your only plan to success for an upset would probably have to be just do heavy run game because like I mean I'm not seeing a lot of success from the Pats pass attack by any stretch of the imagination. But then again, I didn't like really see a path for success against the Giants last week either with their pass attack. So it's tough to say.
Yeah. I mean, right now, the Patriots, like, they're not going to be able to do a whole lot in the air. And obviously, you're down Trey White. I think Trey White is not what Trey White, was in like 2017, 2018. So I wasn't too worried about that. But you do still have arguably the best safety tandem in the entire National Football League, which is part of what makes your defense so scary. And I think you outlined perfectly why the Patriots should run the ball more. Something that not even in this game I've been hitting the table for, but I've been saying all season long the Patriots need to do. Why? Because you have two excellent backs. And yes, the run blocking has been terrible. The pass blocking has been even worse. And you can't do anything if your guys don't block for you at the end of the day in any phase offensively. But if you want to stop the turnovers, you want to limit what Mac Jones has to do. You take the ball out of his hand and you give it to some of these backs. And the problem is that Bill O'Brien is a pass-first offensive coordinator. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think this is a pass-first league. I think you need to have a good offense in order to be successful in today's league more than you do have to have a good defense like we talked about on your channel earlier. And the problem is that he won't revert back to running the ball. Every single game, it's pass the ball, pass the ball, pass the ball. Even last week, playing the Raiders, who were the worst team in the league right now in terms of stopping the run, the Patriots didn't run the ball all that much. They still continued to pass the ball. I mean, they gave the ball to Zeke Elliott a total of 7 times. Ramondre and Zeke both were averaging over 4 yards per carry. Zeke Elliott was averaging 4.9 yards per carry, while I believe Ramondre was 4.4. With those averages, you should be running the ball a lot more because the Patriots' problem is that they're a one-dimensional offense. They don't have the offensive line to be able to actually pass the ball because Mac Jones doesn't have time to stand upright, 2.2 seconds to throw. His internal clock is messed up because of it. He's throwing interceptions because he's throwing on the run. He's throwing across his body because he's trying to extend plays, and that's not what he's doing. That's not his mode of a quarterback. It's sit back in the pocket, be a pocket passing quarterback, and take what's given to you by making smart decisions. And this offense has not allowed him to do that. So again, this is an excellent game for the Patriots to run the ball, especially with the weather. This is a game where they should be running the ball. Let's remember, Zeke Elliott should have had like a 74, 75-yard rushing touchdown last week if it wasn't for that penalty by Hunter Henry. So at the end of the day, yes, this is what the Patriots should do. This is the Patriots' plan for success. But the biggest question is, will they do it? And I just don't know if they will. Like you said, leading sack percentage, the Buffalo Bills, they lead that. The Patriots offensive line is probably going to have, for the 7th straight week, a new lineup. So at the end of the day, how do you diminish some of these problems? You run the ball. Another way that I think the Patriots kind of come out with this win is if they get out early, right? If they can force you guys to a field goal or they can force you guys to punt, I think that is a win for the Patriots to start the game. And they have to go out and they have to put points up on the board quick. But another way at helping this offense succeed is by limiting the penalties. Last week, this team had 11 total penalties, 10 of which were accepted for for a loss of 79 total yards. It's putting this offense in a position in 3rd and long or even 4th and long situations where they're not able to convert. That's not what the offense is built around, being able to convert on 3rd and longs and whatnot. So with that being said, limit the penalties and stop shooting yourself in the foot. That's what you have to ask from the Patriots if they want to win this game in any type of capacity. So any last thoughts on this game, Dan?
Last thoughts, man. I think all Bills fans can agree that I would love to leave this game without any significant injuries. I mean, I feel like every game that we've been watching, like we're losing like a star player for the year. It's just been bad, man. And I'm really hoping, really like for our sake and your sake, I really hope that everybody can go out there and like not have like any sort of like crazy injury. Like it's good to go. It's just good, clean football. Um, Spoiler alert, I do expect to win this game. I just think that when it comes down into it, I do like your run advantage, but the thing is that I just see the Buffalo Bills like offense being too much, like right to a point where it's going to rely on Mac Jones or whoever the quarterback is to attempt to beat the Bills in the air to be able to keep up with our offense. Final score prediction, I have like a 31-10 or something along those lines. I think the weather's definitely going to play a factor in this. Yeah, man, that's exactly where I'm going with right now. I love the way our defense matches up against your offense. And then I think our defense has been playing absolutely elite. There's just been a couple of like stinkers from our offense for the past couple of games, and it's been sort of like overshadowing how good our defense has been playing, even without Milano and even out with Daquan Jones on the line. So yeah, dude, that's what I'm expecting. I really hope for my sake I don't need to go through another low scoring, anxiety driven like drive, or I think I might have a psychotic break on stream. I don't know. But that's what I'm expecting. And now it's just time for the Buffalo Bills to execute.
Yeah, that's actually really interesting, your score prediction, because I had my score prediction as 27-10. So that's really interesting. We were
The
very, very
Buffalo
close.
Bills.
And what we
So
had,
Buffalo.
yes, the Bills. Obviously not
Okay.
the Patriots winning, guys. I'm not going to be stupid and be a homer and say they're going to win this game. There's no reason anyone should be thinking we're going to win this game. Also, the Patriots playing at home over the last couple seasons has been horrific. I don't know why, but it seems like they play worse at home than they do on the road. So that's something else you have to kind of take away from this game.
Yeah.
But like you said too, that also could be diminished a little bit in terms of score prediction if this rain is bad, if this wind does pick up, right? Because if
Yeah.
that is the case, I do see them running the ball more, both of these teams, which I do think will significantly bring the total score down from what both of these teams will be. Like if it really is a bad weather day, I don't think 27 points for the Bills is going to happen. But I
Yeah.
do obviously think they put up significant points and they do come out with the win. I think Bill Belichick is essentially asking this defense to hold the Bills to, 14 points, 18 max in order for this team to win. And I just don't think that's realistic. And
Yeah.
I can't say that the Patriots win this game. But guys, on your way out, please make sure you do leave a big like on the video. It massively supports the channel. Dan, I tell people all the time that the likes, they're not for looks. Although it does look
Yeah.
pretty, it's not for looks. I promise. It actually helps the YouTube algorithm. It pushes us out into the algorithm and tells YouTube, hey, this channel is worth showing people the video. So make sure you guys do leave a like on your way out. But Dan, tell people where they can find you.
Yeah, man, most definitely. I have a self-titled channel, Dan Mitchell. That's where I get all of my long-form content. It's not just Bill stuff over there. It's NFL, sports betting. I'm also on TikTok, where I just exclusively talk about the NFL over there at Real Dan Mitchell. Same thing with Instagram. I basically just take my TikTok videos and put them on Instagram. So, say for example that you ever want to, sort of indulge, maybe see me sweat out some NFL bets every now and again. Certainly do so.
Perfect. Perfect. Guys, you already know we're going to have Dan on the channel again in a few weeks when the Patriots get demolished by the Bills for the second time this season. So make sure you guys look forward to that. But as always, I do appreciate you guys for watching. Make sure you like, you subscribe, you check out Dan's channel. But of course, never forget, although you don't want to say it, never forget, go Pats.